East Street, Nebraska. The Clay, our street and route supervisor, was kind enough to pull me out there and make me get my hands dirty, and I have a much greater appreciation for what they do. I gained about 20 minutes in, and I gained a lot of appreciation for what they do. And I'll be going out there semi-regularly, working a whole shift with them. Just really what they're going through, and yeah, just make sure I'm not out of touch with my team. So, moving on, there are some faded signs at the riverfront we got removed. The boat ramp, last time I checked, was not in the river anymore. So we have that moved out for the winter. And then we have finally for the street and grounds, or no, not finally, we have the ADA ramp. We got one bid. It was from Brett Finrod, and I'm going to open that in front of you guys.
You need to correct that. That's not for the ramp. Is it for the ramp or is it for the paver?
That's the same project, right?
No.
I was under the impression.
No.
Could you clarify?
Well, you can open the bid and see what it says.
Yeah.
I may have just wrote it down wrong.
Talk to them about having for time.
I don't understand the question.
I thought we was gonna do some more, at that time, we was gonna do a couple other streets.
Yeah, we got that in here too.
Yes. Yeah, the next item will be the street. It is for the, it just says for the front. I think this is for the ramp, yes. I will give this a bit. Nick, what details of that?
Yeah, that's for the paver project.
Okay.
It just comes in.
Okay, yeah, so I just made a typo in there then. And then I didn't take note of it. What was the total?
Total for all inclusive is $96,071.
That was his bid for the paper project. Moving on, I have a contract extension. The no action is required tonight for the Mid-River asphalt contract for street paving that was approved last year. On it, there should be 3 pages. The first page you'll find is a street by street breakdown that clarifies tonnage and cost per street. For North Carolina Street from the I'm gonna name the streets necessarily like where to and from. And then if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. North Carolina Street, $42,638.25. The second one was 23rd Street, $29,815.50. A portion of 24th Street for $31,420 even. A portion of 25th Street for $17,097 even, and a portion of 26th Street for $25,854. And then the second page is total for the projects listed on the first page, which is $146,839.82. And then on the final page, it had come in under in the mid-year budget. We had moved about $160,000 over to add some extra street project work. It had come in under that amount, and so we went to Tennessee and the intersection of Tennessee and 5th. We had to estimate that about 5 to 10 yards, or 5 to 10 feet, I think, yeah, 10 feet into each intersection. Because if you haven't driven over the intersection at Tennessee and 5th, I highly encourage that you do. And if you make it back alive, please tell me how that went. That was $19,289.27 on the page. It comes out to about $166,000. Are there any questions about which particular streets to and from on where? Anything pertaining to that? That was a lot of information.
So council, what we approved last summer for street repaving, we approved $263,000 $362 for 4 main streets with options A, B, and C around Sunset Park. The total is 263, 362. And looking at comparison, if you look at the notes or what's in front of you, it says the above price reflects the MoDOT asphalt index of 486.25 for December of 2025. Well, when we got a price back in June and July, that index price was $513.75. So that original 263, 362, we are anticipating it to go down. I guess it could go up, but with petroleum prices going down, more than likely it'll go down. But 263, 362 with the 4 additional streets of 146,839.82 totals $410,201.82. We had budgeted $416,200. So that leaves a surplus in that large project line item of $5,998.18. So unless that index pricing gives us a significant break, we probably can't do Tennessee and Fifth Street unless we get closer to that time frame and know what we can get locked in on that index price for that.
So when speaking with the gentleman from Mid River, they did say probably at the beginning of summer when we're probably about a month to 3 months out. Again, it just varies on how volatile the market is and whatnot. To really get some set in stone price.
Did they say? Am I correct that the earliest that they could possibly do it would be March?
And to be accurate, yes.
But it may go well into early summer or late spring.
Yes, but as you did point out, with gas prices going down, oil prices going down, it's highly likely that we will receive a break, so to say, on the cost of the paving. So, any other questions?
You came up with 400 something? No, they had it. Those feet.
Yeah, I could have. Should have never wrong on calculator that.
416 or 300. Well, what was your number?
So
I came up with the first page in the crystals that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 added street. And then the $146,000 one, and then the $20,000.
Oh, yes.
I didn't count the 20,000.
Another thing that could be done too to save money is we have a milling machine ourselves. We could mill our butt joints ourselves. Supply our own risers and our valve risers and cut costs there. And if they take care of that portion ourselves, that's a big portion of the money because they have to haul in a whole skid steer, milling machines and clean all that up. In the past, historically, we kind of always did that ourselves. A lot of the milling, unless it was on big, thoroughways and things like that. But on the south sides of 22nd, 23rd, 24th and stuff, we could probably potentially do that much by ourselves.
I was under the impression, I think not. Aren't you the only one that's not using?
Doesn't mean I can't though.
I was gonna, would you be open to teaching?
I'm gonna tell you now, I can teach, but it's not something they'll be able to go do that and have it right. I mean, that's a very meticulous project.
Okay.
And it has to be done exactly right, 2 inches. I mean, they have to have actions there that has to be right on there.
So it's something that our team could learn to do over the summer.
Yeah,
and the
so-
future.
So historically, in the past, that milling machine is good for, I'm gonna use an example, like say you're going down South Carolina and you hit a little bump, you can mill that bump right out of that bump out of the road. And that's where people should learn to do it, but would be for things like that.
The large.
Yeah.
So I guess in the summer, I go a little bit, I mean, except for figure out the total cost on Fifth and Tennessee, we're within budget or under budget, excluding that and not knowing what the index price on the previous bids going down.
And then to a point to what Councilman Twitchell had said, the numbers on the first page all add up to the number on the second page. And so, adding that together would be, would count twice, and then you just add that to the final, the 19,290 or 289 in fact. The fourth 116,000 was what was in the mid-year budget for the large street project as a whole. Any other questions? Okay. That is all I have at this time then. Thank you.
Right. What's not on the agenda, that's an oversight, but, does the council have objections, go ahead and let the enterprise director get his update. Enterprise director.
Good evening again. So at the water treatment plant, basement rehabilitation, the project is continuing at progress at a good pace despite the minor setbacks caused by basement flooding. I reached out to Matthew with Meco Engineering today. Just kind of touch base on how the project was going. At this time, he said that has not seen any change orders, so that's a plus for us. So maybe they're not gonna try to raise the price or anything due to those flooding issues they've had. Generator replacement at the water treatment plant. As part of the 2-year plan. Here shortly, I'm going to start reaching out. I know that the second year starts in June. I just kind of need to get everything in order and about getting that generator replaced at the water plant. Going down to wastewater treatment. The auger system, the Huber Tech, it's still functioning and discharging as designed, so that's a plus. UV system upgrade. Those parts were ordered, received, and they have been paid for. The third one on there was the main pump control panel. We talked about that in a special meeting. But the number 4, roof and HVAC replacement. During our budget, we plan to put a new roof and a water plant or wastewater plant. So hopefully by February 1st, we can get those out in the newspaper for bids to get those 2 projects completed. Distribution, Murray Street ground storage tank, the conduit installation is complete. Electric work has been finished. We've been partially billed for the cost of the conduit. We're still waiting for the final bill, and then we'll have that part of it completely wrapped up. Visual sewer analysis, the analysis completed. Review of many remaining items is still scheduled. Meters, the first round of order of meters has been installed and completed, and we have paid that bill also. Sewer main replacement at 5th Street. So this has kind of been an ongoing issue for a lot of years. It's a lot of years where it's great, then it kind of fails, and it's great, and so it's just a deteriorating sewer main that needs to be replaced. I reached out to DNR about getting a permit to get that replaced from 5th in North Carolina to 5th in South Carolina. It's actually undersized and that's clay tile. It's kind of fallen in, it collects a lot of rocks. We're able to jet it and get it open. It'll be good for a while, but ultimately it picks up from it discharges in the manhole at 5th in South Carolina. It picks up from 5th in South Carolina to 5th in North Carolina, and then from 5th in North Carolina to 7th Street, and then some of the side streets that kind of all branch into that. So that's the last part of that main, and we need to that'd be the process where we start and get that replaced. There's also a manhole at some point that we'll have to install at 6th in North Carolina. They say in our mapping that's there, but we've never been able to find it.
Isn't that the one we're having major problems with all the time? I see them down there at least.
Yeah, so the person that gets it the worst is Charlie Shelton. When we have an issue, it floods his driveway, the backside of his house, his yard. It's a whole mess, and then we're down there cleaning his rock out, putting lime down, hauling new rock in, and things like that. It's one of those things. It's one of those issues that you don't know is an issue till he's calling, because it's his standpipes off the side of the road underneath his his cover before he parks his car, and it's usually a pretty big mess. So it's not. It just needs to be. It's time to upgrade it. And it's a 6-inch. You need to go with an 8-inch and upsize it and things like that. The Star Hill mixer. So this one kind of caught me at surprise. Last Monday, USG Water they sent me a text message and said, "Hey, we're going to be there tomorrow to install the mixer." And I'm like, "No, you're not." But needless to say, the work that they had to do was not as extensive as we thought. We thought we were going to have to drain a 1-million-gallon tank. Clean and sanitize the old existing tank up there and utilize it while the process was being completed. They wrapped that project up on Thursday. The mixer's installed and is operating exactly as designed. So we didn't have to drain it. They were able to drill a hole from the top. It's kind of all chain, and they use a ROV, remote operated vehicle. They get the chain to where they need to go, and they were able to get all that installed, and so it is completed and running. And we are waiting for the final bill to make that payment, and then that'll be taken care of. Also on the year 2 of our 20-year plan, we had planned to redo the shop out South 30th Street. So over the next several months, 6 months or so, planning preliminary design, just kind of determine what we need to keep all of our machinery, trucks, things like that, and out of the weather. The current shop, if you've ever been in there, it's rough. It's really rough. It's very outdated, inefficient due to utility costs and needed extensive repair, and undersized for our existing equipment. So you'll always notice there's trucks sitting outside, things like that, where the lower shed is plumb full of equipment. The upper shed is usually packed full of equipment, and we just don't have enough room for all the necessary equipment. Water office, I'm going to skip to number 2. We're doing an internal rate study. Doesn't mean we're going to raise rates, keep rates the same, lower rates. We're just trying to make sure that where we need to be in accordance with our 20-year plan that we passed and our city ordinances. Going back to number 1 on that, Danes Trash Services. So I included a letter from Danes, December 15th, 2025. In regards to our increase request of 15% beginning February 2026, Danes is basing this increase off 15% of equipment pricing, 10% increase of landfill pricing or leachate tax, and a 25% increase in payroll wages, as our rates have been held for 2 years with no increase per their contract. I included a enterprise solid waste contract rate adjustment. Just to kind of run through it a little bit, Danes is requesting a 15%. I'm going to skip down to contractual considerations. The current solid waste contract limits allowable rate increases to operational cost impacts. Capital expenses, including equipment purchases or replacements, are not eligible justifications for rate increases under the contract terms. Any approved adjustment must be consistent with the contract language and the intent. The CPI was 2.9% in 2024, 2.7% in 2025, projected as 2.9% in 2026. Fuel cost review. So this is what I put this together to kind of have a good understanding of the contract, what they're asking, and where we're at and where we were. Fuel cost review. At the time the contract was executed, Missouri average fuel costs ranged from approximately $2.70 to $3.15 per gallon. While fuel prices increased since that time, they are now back at the $2.70 mark. Therefore, the increase does not support a full 15% rate increase. So if you go back to the letter, I was just basically getting that they can't raise trash rates based off of fuel. They didn't even actually quote it or ask for it, but I wanted to ensure that wasn't going to be their next thing. 15% increase would result in significant cost impact to residents. It would place additional strain on household budgets. It would also set a precedent for future large rate adjustment requests. A more moderate increase better balances contractor needs with ratepayer protection. And then I just did an analysis. After reviewing the contract operating cost data, overall budget impacts, I find that the full 15% is not contractually or fiscally justified. However, I do acknowledge the legitimate operating cost increases have occurred, and therefore would recommend the following CPI for 25 and 26, which is 5.6%. The executed contract year should have included the 2024 year. I didn't want to throw the 2024 in there because if you sign a contract in 2024, you know why you're signing a contract, what the cost of things are. So you should have included that in your 2024. Signing that in 2024. It would be my recommendation in approving a 5.6 rate increase. This adjustment reflects inflationary pressures, complies with the contract, and represents a fair and reasonable compromise between the contractor's request and the city's responsibility to residents. I included a 5.6% increase and a 15% increase table in there. So just, I think commonly in Louisiana, most people are T1s. If you currently pay $15.24, A 5.6% increase would take you to $16.09, so just, less than $1. A 15% would take you to $17.53. Requested council action to approve a 5.6% solid waste rate adjustment. I know I wanted to present this. I know we can't do anything to the council meeting, but I wanted everybody to have time to do their own research and also know kind of what's going on. Implemented the approved rate. And then I added the relevant contract language, section 1.33. This is word for word verbatim out of the contract. Contract prices are valid for 2 years and are subject to negotiation the third and fourth year of the contract, except as noted. Contractors shall have the right to adjust prices to reflect any increase in the following documented by the contractor: consumer price index, any governmental imposed tax or fee which affects hauling or disposal costs, extraordinary increases in fuel costs. Any such increases shall be subject to the city council approval. I asked for governmental imposed tax or fee. They never provided that, and I proved in this document here with the fuel cost, there was no extraordinary review. So that basically falls under the CPI index, which they would, in a permit contract, would be entitled to. And I will say that I did get confirmation from them that they agreed to the 5.6% instead of 15%. And that is via email, so I can print that off and provide that at any time also.
Good job.
Any questions? All right, thank you. If you got any updates?
Just that we've got our new body cameras up and running. And they're working on the LCRs. It's still in the permitting, in the final stages of the permitting process.
Go through the committee's streets and distribution, any updates that we haven't already heard. Infrastructure, ground, street, sidewalk, public safety, police hiring. Ordinance, Councilman Twitchell. Yeah, so, Bill 7249. Just definition of director. Changing that from city administrator. Repeal and replace in its entirety, just to replace the word city administrator with enterprise director. Pretty cut forward. All right. Economic development. Tourism, housing, health, senior services. Enterprise, we just kind of went over that. Community and employee relations. Animal control.
And the thing I mentioned about maybe training ordinance, if we're talking about it, then we'll maybe bring something. Council.
All right. Free commission. Entertaining motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Opposed, like sign.
Right.
We are adjourned.
Do you like that new